Hi guys, welcome to the channel. If you like the content, please like and subscribe and click the notification bell. Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to day 4 of my series. Going from start to finish and then exploring all the updates that are coming out from 1.0. So obviously as I discover the newer things from 1.0, I will create a separate video to include all the information for 1.0 like I did with the settlement guide, which if you do want to see, I will add to the description below. So basically at this point I was just waiting for the seeds being harvested. So every time my workers harvest wheat or corn or anything inside of my fields, they generate seeds as well. So I was waiting for those to stack up. So I could then start planting and filling up my other farm plots fully with the same crop growing. And then I decided in the front of the places where I had the sheep and the cattle in the pens, I decided to use the area in front as well for more farm plots so I could grow more crops. So far, I've been really happy with the design of my town, both being able to um, harvest trees and different crops and stuff like that. So at least it's a self-sustainable settlement so far. It's freed me up to do a lot of other things along the way, especially with the trees. Uh, with them having chopping and planting my trees over and over for me, it saves me a lot of time. Going forward, I would definitely want to get to a stage where I at least have 2 guards and 2 mages as well in my settlement. And then what I would also like is another farmer, um, and then one more fisherman and one more hunter. So then I could double my meat production. So I'm not only just getting the meat from the cattle and the sheep, but my hunters will be getting me game meat like duck breast and rabbit leg and stuff like that. And then with the fishermen, I'll be getting more fish. So at least it'll be double the amount in terms of that. And then I do want chickens as well for my farm. So yeah. I came into the dungeon underground to do a bit more exploration, and I especially wanted more of the summoning boss items. So, like the mysterious portals when I was summoning that demon to fight it at nighttime, I needed the royal eggs from the snow biome so I could summon the boss in there. And then I kind of wanted to get more frost shards because I wanted one more fridge. Um, or should I say cooling box as it's called inside of the crafting menu, so that I could have 4 different cooling boxes. So one for like cooked foods, one for raw meat, one for like vegetables and fruit, and then the last one I wanted was for flowers. So like sunflowers, fire monet, ice blossoms, and then mushrooms. So then basically I could keep those things fresh for a longer period of time without them spoiling, especially the ice blossoms, because I wanted those to stack up as much as possible so that I could keep the fuel going for as long as possible. At this point, there was a lot of combat. Like, there was so many. Like, at first I started fighting, and then I started killing a spider, and then I only realized how many frozen enemies there were. So I just went to town and just started slashing everywhere. Thank goodness I had the katana because at least slashing range is quite big, so at least I could hit quite a bit of the group with a couple of the slashes on the way. At first, I was a bit hesitant to explore this brown cave area because technically it's for the autumn zone. So it's a I would say 2 tiers higher than my current equipment and stuff. But then I thought, you know what? If I just explore it and I get the rune stone and craft that armor, then at least I become 2 tiers higher. In terms of being able to fight bosses and stuff. So I just carried on fighting and exploring in this underground area. And like, unfortunately, my pickaxe was a bit too low grade to break the walls here. But at least the bombs, the iron bombs, even if you use them, they still explode the walls and stuff. So even though I didn't have a pickaxe for this tier, the bombs were a nice shortcut. Like I keep saying, they'll be your best friend. And I was able to get more materials and explore and fight more mobs and stuff. Um, they did do quite a lot more damage than I was expecting, but because it was technically only one higher tier than the current boss that I was targeting, so I was quite surprised. I quite enjoyed this headpiece. I thought it was very cool. It kind of gave me a Reaper vibe. So when I initially started shooting with my sparkler, I thought it was pretty cool. Like it was like some what's it, Reaper that was shooting fire and stuff. So it was quite fun. Um, yeah, but also I had to throw away a lot of the common stuff. So like things I can recommend that you can throw away, just regular arrows and then ninja stars, and even the fire arrows as well. So anything you get like from the beginning biome in the underground, you can kind of throw away because it's quite a common item that you can come across. The only things I wouldn't recommend throwing away are trinkets, and another thing would be like seeds initially until you get your farms going, then you can throw them away after that. Um, Always keep the bombs and dynamite, they're really helpful. Um, what else? Potions you can always keep, they're really helpful, uh, especially with the different buffs and stuff that they give you. And then yeah, I think that's about it. And then any like walling or doors or stuff like that that you can craft, I would throw those away as well. Unless you kind of also need them just to start another building or something like that, then you can prioritize something else to throw away. But I was mostly in here to get the rune stones and then the cloth fragments to try and make the runic armor so that my defensive capabilities were much higher. So I could take more hits and more damage, and then I could dish out a lot more damage myself because I wouldn't be having to run around and drink potions mid-fight as much. Because there's a 30-second cooldown on health potions, so you have to manage your survival during a fight, and then keeping an eye on the timer as well. I must admit though, I was pretty comfortable fighting in this area, even though I was taking a lot more damage. It was just surprising at how fast I was actually managing to kill the mobs and actually do a decent amount of crowd control with the snowmen. So at least that was a very, very helpful. So it just allowed me to keep exploring and going and going and going and going. Uh, so yeah, I just continued and continued exploring this place until I knew I had enough runestone. I was so focused on getting the loot from that chest that I exploded because I can't remember what the despawn rate is for items that you leave outside of a chest. I wanted the items in the chest so bad that I wasn't really paying attention to my health. And then I forgot about the flame trap when I walked back through and it killed me. So I had to run all the way back to go fetch all my loot. Also, with the summoning staff, if you want your minions or summons to fight and kill the cavelings, usually they will just ignore the cavelings. But what happens is if you're holding the summoner staff and you right click on the cavelings, then they actually target the caveling to kill it. So if you want to kill the cavelings a bit quicker, then right click and target them. So then you're summoned and you are attacking it at the same time. And then even if it's running away, if you've got like a ranged summons, they'll keep shooting it while it's running away. So it helps you kill the cavelings a lot faster. And the cavelings also do drop quite a bit of material, so it is worth chasing them down and killing them. So I got enough runestone to craft me a full set of armor, and then I was debating whether or not to make myself a pickaxe and a axe from the runic stone, because then at least it was of a higher tier, and then it wouldn't matter which biome I was in. I could start, um, harvesting more materials and stuff like that from different areas. And like, I think, I'm not sure if it works like this 100%, but I think the higher the tier of tool that you have, when I was in that underground area where I was getting the rune stone, if I use a higher grade pickaxe in that location, for example, on those floating runes that you see with the glowing glyphs on it, I think whenever you harvest them with the right tier of tool, you get a higher amount of runes. So that's why I chose to ignore quite a bit of them. So yeah. Uh, Also, I was looking through some other weapons and armors and stuff like that to see what my options are, so I could prepare for the next fight for the boss, for the one for the snow biome underground. And I was just seeing how I could improve, and if not, then I was just gonna go with what I had. I decided also to start clearing out the area on the left side of my main house, because I wanted to add two more houses and then a pen for a chicken farm. So I just quickly got to work and just started chopping up all the trees and boulders and stuff that were blocking my building area. So I was just quickly chopping them all down and all that sort of stuff, to try and start preparing for the next two houses and my new pen for chickens. So yeah, I just I was just really happy with how everything was progressing and going so far. It was like especially with the fact that I found the underground area where the autumn region was, and I managed to get more of the runic stone and craft a higher tier of armor. So I wouldn't actually need the frost shards to make me a set of armor, because the runic stone, as far as I remember, is actually higher than the ivy bar armor. As far as I know, in terms of progression, you're supposed to go. I think, if this is correct or not, you can correct me in the comments if you wish. But as far as I know, it goes the forest biome, then it goes the snow biome, then you go to the void wizard, and then after that you go to the swamp for the IV bar, and then after that you go to the autumn region underground, and then from there you get the deeper underground, staircase, and then you fight the other bosses there. So it's like a progressive push up as you go. So yeah, but I must admit, what I am enjoying a lot about it is is the fact that all the biomes are combined together. Because back in before 1.0, you would get like a map, and then basically you would have to travel to the far left or right of the map, and then teleport to another biome. And then once you were in that square of the map, then you would have either an autumn, desert, snow, or a swamp biome, and then you would have to travel back the other way. But the problem with that was like you had to travel through each square of map to get back to your spot, unless you used the recall scroll. But like compared to this with the combined biomes, it was so annoying. I'm not even gonna lie. It was so annoying having to travel each square. And then another thing which you wanted to do was like get a cartography table, so you can make maps. And then the maps would reveal locations for you to do certain fights. So like if you had pirate maps or void wizard maps or settlement maps, then you could at least find other towns and settlements to buy certain stuff like chickens or cows or stuff like that. Because sometimes the map you would spawn into would usually only have one animal. And yeah, it was a hassle. Oh my goodness. So, yeah. I remembered in the landscaping station they had a sink that I could craft, and I remember seeing how happy I was when I first saw it inside of the landscaping station. But I didn't have the materials before to make them, and I thought, yes, now I can make my town more civilized now. After they use the toilet or whatever, they can at least wash their hands, you know. So yeah, the civilization the civilized behavior was starting to improve for my workers. And at least with the varieties of foods now, at least they wouldn't have to eat the base foods like blueberries and stuff. Every now and then I did craft them, gourmet foods and fine foods for them to eat. So at least they could just come in and eat some food, use the toilet, wash their hands and stuff like that. And I mean, at least with a bath as well, they could also keep themselves clean. So yeah, I liked how civilized my settlement was becoming, and by putting bookshelves in each one of their rooms and stuff, I feel like at least I'm boosting their knowledge in some way or form, and they're more intelligent and stuff. Now with my pen complete for the chickens and my two new houses for the for four more residents inside of my settlement, I was starting to make plans to go get chickens for the pen. So I quickly emptied up into my place, and then I was gonna head over to the desert there where I spotted the chickens in one of my previous videos. And yeah, I was gonna bring them over to start getting them organized. And yeah, I quickly created a husbandry zone for it as well, so that once I set up the chickens within the pen, then I always have 20 chickens running with two males and then 18 females inside of the things, so that I'm getting a constant flow of eggs. And then it also means now I'll be getting chicken as meat as well going forward. As I was about to leave, I actually realized that I forgot my ropes, so that when I buy the chickens, I can bring them home. Yeah, so I quickly rushed back to quickly sort that out, so that I could quickly go over to the village and buy the chickens with the coin that I have, and then bring them back to my settlement, so I could start getting the eggs going. Also, I kind of forgot only once I bought the chickens that you actually automatically get ropes when you buy them attached to them. Also, you can take four at a time, I think, as maximum on a rope. I was just very limited on coin at that point in time, so I only bought a male and a female, because then at least they could start the breeding process, and then at least I could get more chickens going. So yeah, I was very chuffed and happy now, because at least that means I've got sheep, chickens, and cattle. So that means I got milk, animal hide, beef, lamb meat, wool, eggs, and then chicken meat. So yeah, so in terms of boosting my overall quality of life for my settlement, it was a big boon for me getting the chickens, because now I could do a lot of baked goods with the eggs, and yeah, and other different varieties of foods. So yeah, I was really happy. I was really happy. I also just managed to employ a guard for my town and my settlement. They only usually have one skill, which is hauling, which is still fine because they'll still be working. So basically, hauling, they'll only be collecting from berry bushes and my apple trees, which is fine because if they're hauling from the blueberry bushes and raspberry and blackberry and the apple trees, then at least it frees up my other workers to do other stuff like forestry and farming and looking after and raising the animals in my pens. So yeah, I was really chuffed with that. Also, straight away, immediately after I got everything organized and it got to the nighttime, I immediately got a notification for a raid from a bunch of pirate raiders. So I quickly went down to go and fight them, and I managed to kill, I think, three quarters of the group um, before eventually I died, because like I didn't see how much damage those golden great bows were doing to me. Like wow, they were insane. Like um, I think they were like knocking four of the hearts off my health bar every time they hit me. So was quite impressive. I mean, also considering that I have the runic armor on, so the damage was quite crazy. But I know the golden great bow is the more is the stronger one between the two bow types. So you kind of get like a long bow and then a great bow. But as far as I know, the great bow, even though it is more powerful, the draw time takes a lot longer. So yeah, but still, um, it was doing quite a bit of damage, which I was quite surprised about. After the raid was concluded, I decided to go down into the dungeon because I wanted to fight the second boss from the frost biome. So I quickly grabbed the three royal eggs and stuff like that, stuff on me, and then I was quickly going to go and find an open spot inside of the frost biome to fight the boss. So I had three eggs, so I wanted to fight it three times in a row. So the only difference is from the first boss to the second one is the first one you have to, with the mysterious portals, you can only summon it at nighttime in the frost, in the forest biome at night. Well, actually, I think any biome, just as long as it's nighttime. Then with the frost biome, to fight that boss, all you need is the royal eggs inside of your hotbar, and then you just click it to summon it in the frost biome. But you have to be in the underground. You can't be in the overworld to do the summons. And yeah, I was gearing up to get ready to start fighting it because there was a weapon that I wanted from it that would have made the progression a little bit faster for me, especially seeing as after that I want to go for the Void Wizard, and that frost, it's called the Frost Piercer, and basically you summon these objects that swirl around you, and then they have a homing effect. So they automatically search out their targets and then attack them. So it's handy, and I mean, I think you can have, I think 8 or 9 of them circling you at one time. So that's what I was going for. I was a little bit underprepared for the fight. I forgot to bring my ice javelin, so when it does the side to side dashes, I could just be smoking it with those ice javelins. So after the first fight, I ended up having to look for some snow dwarves because they dropped the ice javelins. So I killed a couple of them just to get a few more, just so I could get a bit of a long range attack on the boss. But then after after I ran out of the ice javelins, the my katana was doing the most damage, and my attack speed was quite high with the potion that I took. So I decided to switch straight to melee. Because after the 3 dashes, it stops and then it spawns spiders to try and attack you. So it stands still for a few seconds for me to just slash at it with the katana, and I found it to be a more effective strategy for me at that point because I didn't have the ice javelins. The only thing I had to be careful of was the venom spots, those like red squares, because they do like a type of poison damage. So when you stand on it, then it does continuous damage to you. So the melee weapon was really good. Um, but yeah, obviously I just had to be careful during the fight. But other than that, I was really happy that I managed to beat the boss so quickly on the first one, because that was where I was gonna gauge whether or not I was gonna try it 2 more times, and if I was prepared for the fight or not. And yeah, I was really happy with the result of the first one. So I just pushed the fight and then try to get it done as quickly as possible. So then I could hopefully try and drop the weapon I was looking for. I was starting to run out of space in my storage where my weapons were, because I was storing both weapons, ammo, and my tools in there. So I decided to refine my storage a bit more and place a couple more storage boxes. I think maybe two, and I reorganized my ammo and my tools so that I could have more space inside of my weapons chest. Because all those bronze weapons and stuff, well, bronze, I mean copper weapons, sorry. I don't know why I was thinking of bronze. But all those copper weapons, I was thinking of just selling them off because I could make better weapons and armor for all my settlers. So that if I was a bit slow to get back to base for raiders, they could at least defend and kill quite a bit of the raiders. So I was also starting to make plans for that slowly. Now with the Frost Piercer in hand and my two minions and having somewhat decent gear, I decided to go straight for the Void Wizard. So I wanted to go straight for the Void Wizard dungeon and start getting all the materials and things from that location. So I quickly prepared, got myself some foods and all sorts of stuff, and I just headed straight over there. Because I wanted the void shards and then the books that you find in the bookshelves. And usually you can search each individual shelf for the books, but I prefer to just destroy them and then collect the bookshelves as well with my axe, because then that way I know I've collected the resources and I'm not rechecking through bookshelves that are already there. So if I just chop them and collect them, I mean, I can always just sell the bookshelves later. So another reason why I did that is because you don't get a massive variety of different materials while you're inside of the Void Wizard. So what I do at this stage in the game is I collect all the benches and shelves and stuff um, from the Void area, so that I don't have to craft it back at base, and I have a lot of decorations to use for housing. And yeah, it just proved to be a more efficient method for me because then I could clear through the dungeon and then I know which areas I've been through, because there's no bookshelves left, you know? Yeah. The only thing I can warn about inside of the Void Wizard's dungeon when you're trying to find the staircase to him and you want to kill him as the boss here, because yeah, so the only things I need to warn you about in this area is one, the glyphs. You'll see a purple, red, and a yellow one. The purple one will basically make your character spin and bounce from wall to wall. So basically, while you're in that animation, you can't actually defend yourself. The second one is a yellow glyph, and what happens is it turns you into a chicken for 14 seconds, so you can't use any weapons or um, skills while you're in chicken form. And then I can't remember what the red glyph does. So yeah, and then it also has a lot of traps. You get three different types of traps in here. So you get the arrow trap, flame trap, and the void trap. So arrow is self-explanatory, flame is self-explanatory, and then the void trap is it basically shoots a beam of void. I would say be careful of the void trap the most because that one does a lot of damage. Like obviously the flame traps are horrible because they damage you and give you DOT, but for raw damage, that void trap, I think, even with my runic armor, I think it would be 3 shots and I'd be dead. Um, so yeah. But when you want to make your maze defenses for your base for raiders and stuff in future, um, the Void Wizard area is the best for you to collect those wall traps. Um, because as far as I know, you can't craft the traps that you can place from the walls, so you actually have to collect them from dungeons. from either the underground area or in these dungeons, like in this Void Wizard area. But for me, the Wizard areas are very worth raiding for those traps because they have such a variety of them. So, yeah. Yeah, and another reason why I also recommend the Void Wizard dungeon for the traps is because the map isn't very big in the underground dungeon for the Void Wizard. So the nice thing is you can find a large amount of traps very quickly if you need them for your defense mazes in future. So if you're planning to do the defense mazes um, on your bases and stuff, and you need a lot of traps quickly, then I would highly recommend coming here. Another thing is usually mages won't come and visit you at your settlement. I forgot to mention that. It's not one of the settlers that will come to your village to be recruited to join the settlement. So the two ways for you to get a mage is you either recruit one from a village in the overworld, or is when you're inside of this Void Wizard dungeon, you'll see a couple of them chained down. Inside of the dungeon, and then basically what happens is you ask them to join your settlement, and then they get released from those chains, so they're not sealed or locked underground. I think it's just like a faction thing, like imagine you get the good and bad wizards, right? So the good wizards are just basically being held captive within this Void Wizard's dungeon, because the Void Wizard is the evil kind of wizard in the kind of faction. So I think that's what's happening when you're seeing the mages being chained up underground like this. I decided to recruit the second mage I also found underground. Because remember I said earlier that I wanted two guards and two mages, because then at least my guards can handle the close range, and then my mages could cover them long range, with spells and other skills like that. So that was my plan. So at least now I will have two mages and one guard so far to protect my base and stuff. Because even while I'm out exploring and in the underground and stuff at nighttime, zombies will still be able to try and walk into my base even though there is light. The only time they run away is when they see the sunlight. But yeah, so at least my guards and mages will be protecting my people at nighttime in the settlement while I do other things. Because like my village or my settlement isn't at the development stage where I want to start building the maze defenses around my base. For now, I just need the two guards and then the two mages just to do the protection. I figured, seeing as there was some time left uh, for the nighttime, I figured to, I figured I would just grab a couple of mysterious portals and then try and get some more demonic bars and try and see how many times I could defeat it by the end of the night. Um, I didn't check what time of the night it actually was, so I just guessed to see how many bosses I could defeat by that time. Plus, I just needed the demonic bars just in case I wanted to start making equipment and gear for my villagers, for my settlers, so that at least they have better equipment to defend themselves. with the two wizards now and having two gods at my settlement, I really felt like my village was coming together, and like I decided to plant some mushrooms and some other stuff, so now I was getting even more of a variety of different things for cooking and making foods and stuff. So yeah, I was really chuffed, really chuffed that everything was progressing well, everything was going according to plan, and yeah, not only did my town look good, but I was getting the settlers that I wanted into my settlement, into my village, to manage and do everything. The only thing I would like going forward is another hunter, another fisherman, and then one more miner, so that I can send my miners to do two different tasks. So one can collect me one specific ore, and another one can collect me a different type. So then at least that way I'm getting a variety of ores as well. And then that way it frees me up to do a bit more exploration and challenge more bosses and stuff, which is my favorite part in the game. Crushing bosses and beating them. There's nothing more fun than that. Like when you're sweating and you're not sure if you're gonna survive the fight, and then you end up somehow making it with one heart or something left, and the boss is defeated, and now you've got the new materials and weapons, and you're like, yeah, baby, let's go. I'm gonna absolutely roast the next one. So yeah, I was really happy. Hey guys, if you enjoyed the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell.